Hi everyone. So today we have a Zeiss Ikon WSW. So there's your key. I'll talk about this key in a minute, but it's you can see it's got three kind of elements going on here. The key is symmetrical, so it does go into the lock either direction. Doesn't matter which way is up. It'll work either way. So we've got a set of 6 top pins here that are interacting with these dimples. And then we've got 2 tracks. Interestingly enough, only the bottom ones actually do anything. The top ones are just there for the symmetry of the key. So this bottom one is going to interact with the sliders on the left-hand side of the lock. And then this one, which is more of a traditional slider looking track, is going to interact with the sliders on the right hand side of the lock. Now, the sliders on the left and right hand side are the same, they're identical. The only difference, I believe, is that this track can move them up higher than this track can. And then you can see, looking at the key right here, how hopefully you can see that. So there's some warding inside the keyway, right, that fits in with that key. And I think this one, so this track you can see is like cut in. Hopefully you can see that, which matches the warding there, how it has like a notch essentially. And then the other section here is just flat. So I'm not 100% sure why it's done 2 different ways. I think probably to either obfuscate what the key is interacting with, or just, to make it so that this side can lift up the sliders higher. So this lock I got in a double Euro, and I have the second half here. I picked this half because this is the exterior side. This is the interior side. It's still pinned up. Now you can see on the interior side, there are no sliders on the right. So they just have the sliders on the left, and then the top pins. The exterior side, though, does have 2 sliders that come with it on the right-hand side. So it's slightly harder to pick, especially because you have the I guess the nubs from the finger pins are facing each other. So there's less room to maneuver, versus in the interior side, you see you have a big space right there on the right that you can slide stuff around in. So imagine if there were 2 pins on the left-hand side, or sorry, if there were 2 pins on the right-hand side as well. It makes maneuvering to get under these sliders a little more difficult. So talking about the security elements of this lock in a little bit more detail. So the top pins are nothing super special. The drivers, there's a couple standard drivers. There are a handful of spools in here, which are just standard spools. See there? So nothing super weird about those. The top stacks give terrible feedback for some reason. They feel really mushy. I'm not sure if it's because of the way these key pins are. So this bottom part is what sticks into the keyway, and then it's got this big top part right here, which is what lifts the driver. I'm not sure if that's what makes the feedback weird, or if it's something else to do with this lock, but you can see how those fit in right there. The interesting part is probably the finger pins or the sliders and the sidebar. So they are sprung. So you can see I have the springs out right here. And they fit into these notches, just like you would see on a similar lock, like a Schlage Primus, for example. And then they've got sidebars, 1 on each side. Again, on the interior side, there would be no sidebar here. All of these pins have false gates and 1 true gate. So they have false gates above and below the true. And then you can see the pins, the part that sticks into the keyway and interacts with the key is offset to one side. So it's either going to be forward or backward, essentially, as it sits within this chamber here. So the two at the front were both forward, so they were at the front part, but then some of the other ones will alternate. So it was like a forward one, and then I think this one was forward, but then this one was backwards. So you'll see when I show the gut, I have them all in here with the key, and you can see how some of them will be to one side or the other. And then the sidebars that those interact with are right here. So you can see semi-standard stuff. They do have their the ridge here that interacts with the pins, and it will fit in right into that true gate. And the way it's oriented is that ridge is towards the bottom of the keyway, so it'll fit right there with that true gate if I can get it together. So just like that, and it fits pretty well. Whereas if it's in a false gate, it'll just catch the sidebar, but it won't be able to open, obviously. I think that is probably it. Sidebar springs, just sidebar springs. So the sidebar is being pushed out. That is it. You can see the grooves right there for the sidebars. And I think that's probably all we need to talk about for this one. So there you go. Again, the Zeiss Ikon WSW. This is the exterior side. All right, got my WSW here. My key works. And I'm going to do the top stacks first, using just the back of a flag here. So pin 4 first. 6. 5 there. 2 is a spool. There. 3 is also a spool. These top pins don't give great feedback. They all feel kind of mushy. That was all kind of wonky, so let me try this again. smells okay. So I think I'm going to move to the sliders. I'm going to use a slider fork first off, because I need to get this one in the back here on the right hand side. This one in the front here on the right hand side. And then I need to get the ones on the left hand side. That was 2. 3 right now. There should be 4 right here. Okay. And then it's got to find 5. Okay, there's 5 right there. Tap all these up to make sure that they are all in their true gate. And I don't think they all are, so let me see if I can get some of these lifted more. Yeah, obviously they're not, because if they were all in the true gate, the lock would be open. Oh, just like that. Perfect. Okay. I got it. Okay, I need to find my stuff over here. Okay. So there we go. That is open. And I'm gonna relock it. All right. Let's get this gutted. If I recall correctly, I'm actually going to need to, I can't gut the top stack through the top of the Bible because the pins don't come through the holes right. So do this old-fashioned way. Okay, gotta take this cam clip off. And I need to, actually, you know what, let's see what I can get out of here, because otherwise I'm gonna have to shim this. Cover this so I don't lose any springs. Oops. I caught that one. My cat light reflexes. Okay. Actually, let's do this. Sorry, I'm indecisive right now on how I want to gut this thing. Why can't I find any of my shims? Alright, well, I can't find shim, so I guess we're just going to do what we do here. I don't think the key pins will come out, but I think the drivers will, so let's do this. Put this cover back in place. Let's see if I can get pin one out. Okay, there we go. This is, I think, what we're going to do here. So there's driver one. Driver two is a spool. Oh, that is key pin number two. Strangely enough, I didn't think those would fall out. Driver three is not cooperating. Driver four cooperates. Driver five cooperates. Driver six cooperates. Okay, you know what, that's probably good enough to make cutting this relatively easy. So key in here. And we're gonna lose. There's driver number 3. Fine. And I'm gonna do the sidebars. There's sidebar 1. I'm gonna put the springs right there. Sidebar 2. Again, I'll grab the springs out. Okay. And now let's do the key pins. There's 1. We already got 2 out. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so there's our key pins. Slide all the stuff down to make some space. Okay, there's our finger pins right there, or our sliders. So I'm gonna do it this way. So this will be 5 and 1, and then I'll do the other ones on this side. So 5 over here, and you're gonna be 5 over here. Four. Whoops. Don't get those mixed up. This one doesn't want to come out. There we go. 3, 2. And up. 1 and 1. All right, you can see all the springs were in there. So these are sprung sliders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's look at these pieces in a little bit more detail here. So there's your core. You can see the sidebar slots, the top stack spots, sidebar, and then the space for the finger pins right there. Let's bring this all up here. So you can see the top stacks. The pins are these weird things. So they have these little narrow ends. That's what sticks into the keyway. That's what you're actually interacting with. So they're tiny little things that you need to hit. I'm going to show one of these spools up close. It's nothing groundbreaking, nothing super exciting there. Just a spool. Let's show the sidebars. So there it is right there. These ones, the part that interacts is on the bottom, which is interesting. I feel like usually they're on the top, but here's the second sidebar. There. And let's look at some of these finger pins in more detail. So you can see that they have these serrations or false gates on them. That is present on every single one. So there it is in more detail. So you can see that true gate right there in the middle. And then the false gates above and below. And then this is the part that is in the keyway, and you can see it's kind of offset. So depending on where this is in the lock, it's either like a front or a back, I guess, within this kind of wider area. It only takes up about half of that. So, all right, there we go. WSW, all picked and gutted.